Okay, everyone, we have got to talk about Wendy Williams, okay? Because Wendy Williams has gone on a recent radio interview and has basically spoken up about the false diagnosis with her dementia, has kind of opened up more than we've ever heard about the guardianship, and it's been sent to me more than I can even stress, and I have been enjoying keeping up with talking about Wendy Williams because I haven't been seeing enough people talk about Wendy in this conservatorship battle. We've talked about it, and I just think it's so crazy that, like, we as a world witnessed one of the biggest pop stars of all time, Britney Spears, go through, you know, one of the most abusive conservatorships of all time, and now we're literally seeing Wendy Williams, and it seems that, like, the mainstream media don't care to cover it, or the average person doesn't care to talk about it. And I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions of Wendy Williams, and that's absolutely fair, but I don't think that takes away from anyone's human rights that are clearly being stripped from her right now. So let's listen to the podcast. It's literally just audio. So, I mean, great news for you. You just get to stare at my wonderful face and deranged background. So let's get to Wendy Williams talking on this radio interview.
And Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
Joining us is the host, and I happen to listen to this show every morning. And to the point of
Is Wendy on the wall? I think she is. Yes. Oh my God, I'm like Laura from Cat's Eye. Yes! Here she is. I love this image, by the way. I think she's here a couple more times, by the way. She's down there as well. She's here a couple times somewhere. It's you and me. And she's down there as well. Yes! I love... Oh my God, the Cat's Eye Gap ad, by the way. Ring if you hate Sydney Sweeney.
disgust. So because I don't agree with everything he says, but there's something charmingly insecure, really smart, and very lovable about Sydney Rosenberg. WABC Radio.
People are tired of what Wendy Williams is going through, and of course my dear friend Joe Tacopina is doing his best to get her out of it. So with that said, let me bring him on. The great defense attorney, my friend for the better part of 47 years, my brother Joseph Tacopina. Joseph, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm great. And, of course, the worldwide superstar, beloved and revered everywhere, Wendy Williams. Good morning, Wendy.
How you doing? Look.
You know I love Wendy Williams. I have not heard a "How you doing" in so long.
I love your intro song. I love it.
Yeah,
Hi, everyone.
They wrote that just for you, just so you know. They wrote that song just for you, Wendy. So we'll start with you, Wendy, then we'll get to Joseph.
She sounds good.
A lot of folks out there that believe what you're going through is completely unfair. They saw you on Page 6 a couple of days ago. They hear me talking about you. They hear Joseph Tacopina talking about you. And we are constantly saying, she looks great, she sounds great, she's ready to get back to life.
About dementia?
Right, dementia. I mean, to speak about that.
No, there's nothing to speak about. I mean, I don't know the doctor that has actually said that, and my attorneys and I are pissed. And, all I can tell is that I feel fabulous. I am me. I am doing my thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, you and again, I've had multiple phone conversations with you. I saw you publicly less than a month
She said, you know what I'm saying?
ago, and it's the same Wendy I knew 5 years ago.
Listen.
So what's going on here, Wendy? What is behind all this?
If anyone's asking why there's no video, this is a radio call-in interview, which is why there's really nothing to show you right now.
Look, I don't want to do a lot of talking, but this is the Guardian thing, and there's a lot of accusations going around. And I'm sure, Joe, you can speak on that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, Sid, let me say this as clearly as possible. This so-called new medical diagnosis that's being leaked about Wendy, which is in violation of the HIPAA laws. We'll get to that in a second.
I have a really good point that I don't see enough people talking about, specifically whenever it comes to conservatorships, with people trying to keep people in the conservatorships, because obviously it has to do with money. They will often leak things about the person's medical care or health records to the public to try sway public opinion, which, by the way, is a violation of the HIPAA law and is also illegal. And I don't think people talk enough about how that is completely illegal to be basically leaking health records to try get the public to be like, yeah, that person is sick. That person is crazy. I honestly just can't believe that, like, the state of where we're at with conservatorships and conservatorship abuse. And also, furthermore, if you think about Britney Spears was able to be locked in a conservatorship, Wendy Williams is currently being, locked in a conservatorship, and these are big fucking names. We're talking about one of the biggest radio presenter, TV presenters of all time, one of the biggest pop stars of all time. And the reason that I feel so passionate about talking about conservatorship abuse, not only is it just as a human, should you, want these people that you've, like, seen or watched or whatever to be free and live their life. But this says a broader story about the day-to-day normal person, normal people, as that woman on TikTok would say, who are going through this as well and don't have people rooting for them or don't have a fan base, trying to get them out of it. And I think the closer we are to kind of exposing conservatorship abuse across the board, the more laws should start to change.
It's a lie. It's false. Okay? And the leak itself is a disgrace. It's not about medicine. This case is not about medicine. Because we're speaking to Wendy right now. I've been doing this with her for a year, better part of a year. And I never had a conversation where I'm thinking, geez, maybe she has some form of dementia. Not even once. I mean, I think I'm more prone to forget things than Wendy is. Okay? So it's not about medicine. It's about manipulation. And it's a weapon being used by those who profit, and I say that clearly, profit from keeping Wendy under an abusive guardianship situation she does not need.
Wendy, I want you to tell the people, that, and I agree, I often compare your situation to Mike Tyson and Don King. When King set up Tyson, set him up, he never raped that girl and took all his money. Somebody's doing that to you, too. I know that's the case. But tell me, your daily life in this building, I think you told me once, you can't even go down 2 floors to the gym unless somebody takes you.
Yes.
A crazy interview, by the way. I'm just trying to hear what Wendy's saying here.
And I work out today, by the way.
Men are insufferable.
I work out 3 times a week. My body is hitting and holding, but that's what I do. So it's not an unnormal thing not to work out. It's just that I'm in this dump. Where I am, it's way too expensive, and all I get is a kitchen, living room, and dining room. I'm on the memory unit where people don't remember anything. So where do you think I eat? Not with those people. I mean, they're nice people, but they belong here. They don't remember. I do. This is expensive. I only leave this floor to work out. I'm only allowed to go out in the streets if I have a bodyguard. And by the way, being famous...
Sorry, also really important to note that people, specifically famous people that are locked in conservatorships, not only are they having their money bled by the conservators in general, who are, taking the money and using it however they want and dictate, but it's important to note that Wendy Williams is being trapped in these facilities, in these buildings. She literally is telling us that she's in, like, the memory ward with people who do not remember anything, and she seems very cognitive to me. But they're literally using her money to trap her in this state that she doesn't want to be in, which, again, is just so fucking evil and crazy.
I don't go out all by myself, but I can't even go out just to get a breath of fresh air. I'm not allowed to leave this floor.
Jesus. Joseph, do we know how long Wendy is forced to live under these conditions?
Well, it's been 2 years plus too long. Think about this. Think of what she just said to you. Listen to her talk. She's a great person. People love her. I agree with you. Aside from representing President Trump, Wendy Williams is the one I've gotten the most reaction from.
Yeah.
And unlike representing President Trump,
Ugh. He represented Trump? So Joe Tacopina, I guess, is the lawyer, and he also represented Trump. Oof. Represented Trump in which case? Not that it matters, but my God, Michael Jackson, too. Who is this guy? Joe Tacopina. I guess he's like the Hollywood one. American lawyer and media personality. Isn't it great whenever a lawyer is also classed as a media personality? Jeepers creepers. 59 years old. Okay, he also was ASAP Rockies. Who has he? I don't trust lawyers who claim to be media personalities. He became known for high-profile clients and high-profile cases. Brooklyn to... Okay, wait. Who has he worked for? His clients have included the New York Yankees third baseman Alex Rodriguez. This man who was convicted in the 2010 killing, the suspect of the disappearance of Natalie Ann Holloway, an American high schooler, Michael Jackson, Italian sailor Chico Forti, actor Lilo Brancanso, New York State Senator Hiram, rappers A$AP Rocky, Meek Mill, Kimberly. He's also represented the NFL team Washington Commanders and team owners Daniel. He was lead trial attorney representing Nauman Hussein. He was charged with criminally negligent homicide. He also represented Julian Catter, who had maced 3 police officers during the attack on the U.S. Capitol, January 6, 2021. In 2023, goodness. Oof. He served as a personal attorney for former and current U.S. President Donald Trump, representing him in a New York criminal case involving payments made to pornographic film actress Stormy Daniels. No way he worked on that. And in a civil case in which Trump was found not liable for R-word claim, but was liable for S.A. and defaming E. Jean Carl. Sean Hannity has described him as the greatest attorney of all time. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I know that. I hate him.
I had some lunatics, threatening to kill me or something like that. With Wendy, it's all we love Wendy. And the crazy part is, she just said what she just said, and I couldn't have said it better, which is why Wendy's Wendy.
I mean, while I disagree with most of the cases he's worked on, I think it makes total sense that he is working with Wendy. I think it was probably a smart decision. So I wonder if he's going to get quick progress on this then, if clearly he's able to get Hollywood execs out of a lot of shit quickly. Don't get me started on Andrew Rattler.
She is on a floor with people who don't know their own names, Sid, who
That's
don't
crazy.
know a red light or green light is when they should cross. They're dangerous to themselves. Wendy is on the floor with them. She is, and by the way, it's not like the state's paying for it. Like, when you're in prison, the state pays for it, okay?
Right.
Wendy has less freedom of movement than prisoners, yet she's paying for this ridiculously expensive place where she could be living in her own. It's the whole thing is so despicably unjust, and it drives me crazy. And then it begs 2 questions. With this new medical report that they're trying to keep, God forbid they should let her return home. And look, Wendy's been through some issues. She said it about that.
What are we watching? We're watching Wendy and her lawyer on a radio interview talking about what is going on with her conservatorship.
Alcoholism and all that stuff. She doesn't have dementia where you can't remember certain things or anything.
No.
She's as good as can be. There's 2 questions.
She's stuck with the bill. Yes, it's her money.
One,
because her conservators make up what she spends her money on. And they're deciding that she spends her money on her locked in these facilities with people that literally don't know left from right, or like they're saying green light, red light, their name. Like, it's
this medical report that everyone's talking about that was leaked to the press in violation of the federal HIPAA laws, okay? In violation of Wendy's human rights. Where is this report, and who is this doctor that signs this report? Name the doctor, show me that report, show proof, and face me in court.
You know what's interesting? You're right. Right. I know you'll shred them. And Wendy Silber, what's interesting, you talk about Trump, and Wendy, you know this too, because Wendy keeps up with everything from her prison. She knows, there's so many people out there trying to kill Trump every day, both figuratively and literally, from judges to other politicians. Between the judges, who are completely unfair to Wendy, to this doctor who's completely unfair to Wendy, to the Guardian,
unknown doctor, Sid, unknown.
Can we focus on Wendy instead of Trump?
To the Guardian, who's unfair to Wendy. It's almost like President Trump, Wendy, in that there's a lot of people in and around you every day that are trying to make sure you never get out.
Yeah.
Don't really see the correlation there, but okay.
Well, I have to tell you something. I also get these strange pills, and I just want to tell you, and I've said, I guess, privately, but there are only 2 that I know that I take that I've had all of my life, practically. The other 6, I throw them away, period. I don't know what these pills are.
Okay. Sorry, that is fucking insane. And this is the same thing as Britney talking about in her conservatorship. They were forcing her to take lithium. Literally, Wendy is saying that out of all of the 8 pills that she has to take, she only knows what 2 of them are, and they're trying to force her to take 6 other mystery pills. This is what these conservatorships do. They make these people sick and make them sicker and make them sicker and, you know, restrict them and, you know, and then whenever these people start showing signs of, you know, decay, I guess, as you would if you're being forced to take mystery pills and not being allowed outside, fresh air, working out or whatever, they start to show signs of slowing down or getting sick or whatever, and then the conservators use that as, look, that person's sick. It's such a sick system. It's in-fucking sane. Yeah, making people sick on purpose.
And I don't care. I went out to CVS and I bought my own multivitamins. So I have multivitamins and I have these 2 pills. And one is thyroid and one is...
And also, sorry, would a person with dementia be doing this? No.
Linzess. You shut up. Don't make a big deal over Linzess. Shut up.
That's funny. So do you have any real communication, Wendy, on a consistent basis with the Guardian, these other people, or are you basically just locked away?
No. Well, why would I call the Guardian? I want out of guardianship. I want to go on with my life. What do I have to say to the Guardian other than, excuse me, can you please tell me what your attorneys at my expense are saying about...
Oh my God, that's crazy as well. The conservators that are like fighting against Wendy to keep her in the conservatorship, so obviously they make more money, are spending Wendy's money to fight Wendy. I remember this with Britney as well. Like, her parents would literally use Britney's money for their lawyers against Wendy. God.
Me going to the hospital? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because my attorneys don't know anything. You know, and I have a team.
She's paying for that.
And Joe Tacopino is the man of all mans.
He is the greatest. You don't have to convince me, I know. So people ask me too, Wendy, and if you don't want to answer, you don't have to because I'm putting you in a tough spot. I realize that. But they go, what about the ex-husband? Does he have access to Wendy's money? Does he make decisions?
I don't even want to go into that. You know, just let me get out of guardianship. You know, but there's a whole lot of fighting for people who are trying to fight me. And that was just going to leave it at that. You know, it's not just the Guardian, but
it's a lot of people. Right.
Yeah.
So Joseph, when we talk about the prospects, realistic prospects, because we want Wendy to be upbeat and happy and in a good mood. She's being, once again,
the ex cute? No, Wendy Williams' ex, Kevin Hunter, literally tried to ruin this woman. Like, he was a piece of shit. He dictated her entire career, in my opinion, was like an executive producer on the Wendy Williams show, was actively cheating on her, got another woman pregnant while with Wendy. Wendy was having breakdowns over it live on TV. He is a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit as well.
Falsely imprisoned. Listen carefully. Falsely imprisoned. This is complete nonsense. And I would hope, the mayor's office actually reached out to me. It's a true story. The mayor's office, Wendy, reached out to me yesterday and said, how can we help? So a lot of folks in this city want to help you. What are the prospects? You're welcome, Joseph, for getting Wendy out of there.
Yeah, well, they're good. Listen. There's the lawyers inside the guardianship proceeding, which have to be approved by both the guardian and the court. Guess who that will never be? Me. The last person they want to see in that courtroom is me. However, Wendy is entitled to a jury at some point as a sort of a form of an appeal. When that happens, when that bell rings, if that bell rings, that's what I do, and I'll be there. So,
wow, I mean, this is a huge update that we're hearing that the lawyer wants Wendy to go to basically a trial with a jury for them to make the decision on the conservatorship. Now, I don't know if you remember, this is something that the Britney conservatorship never got to the point of. But we're now hearing that he is confident enough in Wendy that he wants Wendy to basically go on trial with a jury for a jury to make that decision, which, by the way, this will be one of the biggest high-profile conservatorship cases going to a jury I think we've seen in recent times, if ever. And this actually may have a bigger ramification if the, scenario is positive for Wendy for conservatorship abuse than maybe even the Britney one.
So I say if they have evidence presented in court under oath, and I'll be there waiting. Because I will annihilate. This is so infuriating to me. But the prospects are, according to Alan Diamond, her in-court guardianship attorney, he's saying to the family, to Wendy, late October, before the end of the year, she should be out of this thing.
Oh, wow.
Okay? That's still too long.
That's right.
Another day in that place is too long.
Yeah.
But if that's really going to...
This is also the first time we're hearing this, that they're anticipating that Wendy might be out of it by the end of the year, which, by the way, is just wasting more time. If you think that you could get her out of it by the end of the year, why aren't we getting her out of it now again? It's just wasting a person's years away, honestly, if she's already been in this for 2 years.
happen, Sid, we'll deal with that. And then we will hold those responsible accountable. I promise.
I think that's something very important as well. With if someone ever gets out of a conservatorship, not just moving on from the conservatorship abuse, the money that was stolen, all of the laundering, the abuse. That's why when I see like Britney still doing court hearings or her attorney like ruin these people's lives the way they try to ruin yours.
But let's get her out.
Yes.
So let's get her out.
Yeah. So, Wendy, when that day comes, and it's coming, folks, it is coming. You heard Joseph Tacopina. That man never loses, okay? Never. He's
I guess that's
Koufax.
a good thing about having Joseph
When
on.
that day comes and you get out, I would hope that you're going to resurrect what was the most entertaining daytime talk show in the history of television.
Listen. This is a thing with Britney as well. Hold on. I am going to change my outfit because I don't want to be wearing this sweater anymore. It's pissing me off. Hold on. I'm going to wear my Twitch jumper. This is something that really pissed me off with Britney as well. Hold on. Ow. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Meow. When Britney, I'm gonna set this up. Okay. When Britney got out of her conservatorship, the narrative changed from Free Britney to when is Britney going to release another album? When's Britney going to go on tour? And it was like, do you guys not know that like you were fighting for her freedom? Like, you're not fighting for her to be like accessible again to you. You're fighting for this person's freedom. And I understand, like, yes, like I miss the Wendy Williams show. I would love Wendy Williams to be working again. And yes, she did say she wants to be doing a podcast and radio and stuff like that. But like also when you're saying free someone, you're literally meaning free them. You know what I mean?
Television, whether it's television or radio, do you plan, Wendy Williams, on going right back into the entertainment industry?
Well, first of all, my whole thing was that I was going to stop working in my 50s because I have enough money so I could travel and this, that, and the third. But now, being in guardianship, and by the way, it's easy to go back to work. It's easy to make money. And yes, I do love radio. And no, I'm not going back on TV. I've done that. That's it. I want to do my own hair, makeup, and wardrobe, unless I'm going on like Jimmy Kimmel, where I have to, get fancy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was fun for all those years. I love the people when I was doing the Wendy Williams show. I still actually have friends of mine from the show, that I've seen since being in guardianship.
Also, I don't know if anyone saw, but Wendy spent her birthday with Suzanne from the Wendy show. Yeah, that also just is so infuriating that Wendy literally spent, all of her adulthood doing radio and then doing the TV show for like 12, 13 seasons, making so much money for not only herself but other people to eventually retire. And ultimately, all of that money is actively being spent by these conservators that when she's ultimately out of it, like she's saying, she might have to go back to work because all the money she had saved up to enjoy and retire has been spent. That's insane. That's insane.
But that's not my life. But life going back, it's easy. And it's right here in New York City. And I'm glad that I have, as a friend of you, Sid, because I've known you for so long.
Well, I'm glad too, and I think you're great. I really do. And look, you started with radio, right? Before you became a big TV star, you were one of the most popular DJs in New York radio history. So you'd be going back to the beginning, to the roots there, Wendy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always wanted. You know, when I was in college in Boston, you know, WRBB was right there in the campus. I always wanted radio, even as a child. I was 7 years old, and I told my parents, look, I want radio, and I want it here in New York.
And by the way, she changed the game with radio, and she changed the game again with her talk show. I say this so often, but podcast culture today with pop culture would not exist without the Wendy Williams show. And people need to, like, let's acknowledge that. You know what I mean? You would not have your pop culture breakdowns with, like, me. You wouldn't have the Just Trish show. You wouldn't have Spill Sesh. You wouldn't have these channels dedicated to, you know, pop culture breakdown commentary if it wasn't for the Wendy Williams show, by the way. And that's why, yes, I don't agree with everything Wendy done, but I also agree that there wouldn't be this if there wasn't her. What is that Taylor song where she's like, there wouldn't be me if there wasn't you? What was it again? What's that fucking song? Changed woman-led TV format as well. Yes, she broke the fucking game. She broke boundaries. Thank you, Amy. There wouldn't be this if it wasn't for you or something like that. What is it? I don't listen to that song because it's cringy as fuck. Cringy as hell. There wouldn't be this if it hadn't been you. That song is chopped. That song is so fucking cringy.
And you did
I won. And now I'm losing because I'm on this floor paying all this money. And I'm glad that I got a team of attorneys and my lead man, Joe.
Yeah. So, Joe, I know you got to run to Phoenix today, but give me this. What is next? We'll get one apiece in with you and Wendy. What is next in this battle? Again, we're talking about possibly getting out in October, but what's the very next thing?
Oh, shit. I thought they meant end of year. Well, I mean, end of year is kind of October. So in 2 months' time. I mean, again, it was very smart to bring on, like, a Hollywood exec lawyer like this because, I mean, he shuts down cases and he wins them. That doesn't mean I agree with him, though.
Thing you need to do for Wendy.
She needs to complete the diagnosis from the...
It's actually such a meaningful song. That doesn't mean it's not chopped as fuck. No shade. I love Taylor, but that's one of those songs. That's one of those songs that, you know, she added for the length of the album, for sure.
Neutral doctors, the honest doctors who are going to make a diagnosis. Our preliminary indications, being that we're all violating HIPAA laws, the preliminary indications are that she's come back with a absolutely stellar report. Okay, her diagnosis is not consistent, and I've spoken to the doctors, not consistent with any form of dementia. So whatever doctor is creating this report, I really would love to see it, but it's not real. It's not, and if it is, it's junk medicine. So what's next is we get the diagnosis completed, get into court, and straighten this thing out. Like, we're talking about.
I think it also is a very easy case, even if they were not able to prove that Wendy was not having dementia or whatever, because there's people literally freely living their life with dementia and just care that aren't in conservators or conservatorships. But I think ultimately the fact that they've leaked health records and they've, you know, been forcing pills and stuff like that, allegedly, ultimately kind of proves that they are breaking their promise as well as the conservators. So I do think this will be an easy case to shut down. It just takes a lawyer with a lot of money, and I guess that's why Joe has been brought in.
Within weeks and months, not years anymore. It's over.
Can I just say something? You know, I do a lot of researching on my iPad. By the way, my guardian person did not want me to have an iPad. She went to the judge, and the judge said, yeah.
First of all, thank you so much, Lunar, for gifting the subs. That's insane. And number two, I think it's absolutely fucking crazy that this woman is being restricted basic access to social media and the media world because it's like cutting her off so that she's kind of uneducated to what's going on around her, so then they can argue that she's uneducated to what is going on around her. Let this woman have her iPad.
Yes, let Wendy keep her iPad. So I still have my iPad. So, you know, with the iPad, you know, while I'm...
So they're spending all of her money, but they don't even allow her to have her goddamn iPad? Come on, we've got to get... Free the iPad. Let her have her fucking iPad.
watching TV, listening to radio, and being in this dump. Thank goodness. So, yeah, I do my own research on frontotemporal
I know she be fucking that Candy Crush app up.
dementia and aphasia, that these things that I'm being accused of having. Please.
Not even close.
I'm going to be honest, Wendy sounds... This is honestly one of the best I've kind of hearing from Wendy in a very long time.
So on the way out...
Guardianship, please. Let me get out of guardianship and let me move on with my life, please, in peace and harmony.
That's not unfair. So on the way out, Wendy, there's a lot of people listening right now, a lot. And I mean all over this country, all over the world. I got people from Tel Aviv that were excited to hear you this morning. What is your message to your adoring fans, Wendy Williams? What do you want to say to them?
Follow my trail. I'm getting out of guardianship, and I'm going to be working, and it's going to be delicious. Look, thank you, everybody. Look, really, I need your support because it is me, myself, and I on this floor. It's me, myself, and I talking to these people. It's me,
For the last 2 and a bit years, by the way. Delicious.
Myself and I with a landline phone. My family loves me. And don't get me crying. I got to say, stop. My family is my lovely family.
Your niece is awesome. And Eric is great, too. They're both wonderful people.
Oh, my God. And my son, whose birthday was on the 18th, he celebrated. I was, so happy. With my son, of course, that's my son, but I tried to keep him out of the minutia going on, the crap.
Yep.
Getting out of guardianship.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
And also, a lot of people in the previous video that we, do you like Flop Tropica? I actually visit there often. But anyways, I remember in our last video that we talked about with Wendy, sorry, we still have a minute left of this. It was very much so situations going on with her son, Kevin, defending her. And a lot of people were like, isn't he the reason she's in it in the first place? Hey. 2 things can be true at once, okay? He's fighting for her to get out of it now. However, yes, Kevin Hunter, her son, was basically the reason that her accounts got frozen in the first place. So he is not an innocent being. However, if Wendy is accepting him with open arms, then who am I to dictate the relationship between her and her son?
You sounded great this morning, and I'm sure your fans are so happy to hear you. And I've been telling them how great you sound, but now they heard it, Wendy Williams. Now there's no arguing
Wendy.
That you are great, you're healthy, and ready to return.
Thank you, everybody, and have a nice remainder of the day.
You too, Wendy. And Joseph, I know you're on your way out of here, but, you've been coming on this show for a while saying, hey, I'm with Wendy a lot. I speak to Wendy a lot. Now they just heard her. Okay, now they just heard her. Can anyone doubt, can anyone argue that is a very, very lucid Wendy Williams?
Right, Sid? I mean, that's a human being who has her movements restrained. Not because she's committed any crime or is a felon. I mean, felons have a little more freedom than Wendy Williams. But
because you defend them.
That woman that you just all heard, has her movements restrained, cannot make decisions for herself, has to get approval to go out and get a lunch or a coffee. I mean, it's scary stuff. Not in this country. This should not be this way, and we have to fix it. I mean, really, we're talking about in a word, a false diagnosis, a privacy violation, and a complete disgrace.
Well, she's like.
Okay, it's crazy hearing that from the man that, was defending Trump in his court battles, but I'm going to put that aside for a second because ultimately it does mean that he will, probably free Wendy, which is what is important to me in this moment. And, who set that system up in America right now, Joe? The man that you defended, okay. However, she sounds great. She seems in good spirits. I think it's important to note as well, imagine you being stuck in a room basically for 2.5 years and not being able to leave, not being able to basically have any access to your family, being forced pills, allegedly, not being able to your own fucking iPad, only having a landline phone. You would go crazy. And it's actually incredibly impressive and shows a lot about Wendy's actual cognitive state that she is staying sane during all of this. But anyways, I'm just going to leave it with free Wendy. Free Wendy, y'all. Free Wendy. Free Wendy for real. And we'll leave it there.